White initiates with a central pawn advance, establishing control and opening lines for piece development. A solid, standard start. Black mirrors White's central pawn push, maintaining symmetry and preparing for a balanced game. An accurate response. White develops a knight, aiming for central influence and preparing to castle. This move is standard and solid. Black counters with knight development, challenging White's central setup and preparing for harmonious piece play. Accurate play continues. White develops the bishop to an active square, eyeing Black's kingside and preparing to castle. A logical and solid choice. Black challenges the bishop's position, probing White's intentions and preparing for further queenside expansion. A solid tempo move. White retreats the bishop, maintaining the pin threat and keeping options open. This maintains the delicate balance. Black develops another knight, contesting the center and improving piece coordination. This move maintains equality. White castles, securing the king and preparing to connect the rooks. A fundamental safety and development move. Black captures the central pawn, disrupting White's structure and opening lines. A bold, tactical response. White pushes the d-pawn, challenging Black's center and opening lines for the queen and bishop. A solid positional move. Black advances the queenside pawn, gaining space and preparing to challenge White's central pawns. A strategic pawn push. White repositions the bishop, maintaining pressure on the long diagonal and supporting the center. Solid development. Black pushes the d-pawn, challenging White's center and opening lines for their own pieces. A dynamic central thrust. White captures the pawn, simplifying the center and opening the central file for rook activity. A positional exchange. Black develops the bishop, aiming to control central squares and prepare for kingside play. A solid developing move. White centralizes the queen, connecting rooks and preparing for potential attacks or pawn breaks. A flexible move. Black maneuvers the knight to a strong central outpost, increasing pressure on White's position. A good tactical outpost. White brings the rook to the central file, increasing pressure and preparing for action. Active rook play. Black captures the knight, disrupting White's pawn structure and simplifying the position. A tactical exchange. White recaptures with the pawn, opening the a-file and reinforcing the queenside pawn structure. Solid recapture. Black's queen move weakens the pawn structure and allows White to gain a significant positional advantage. White pushes the c-pawn, challenging Black's center and opening lines for the bishop and queen. A strong pawn break. Black captures the pawn, creating a passed pawn but opening lines for White's pieces. A necessary capture. White recaptures, consolidating the center and strengthening pawn control. A solid structural recapture. Black captures the pawn, gaining material but allowing White's queen to dominate the center. A tactical misstep. White centralizes the queen aggressively, threatening multiple targets and seizing decisive control of the board. Black's knight move fails to address the mounting pressure, allowing White's advantage to grow. White shifts the knight, improving its position but slightly reducing the immediate pressure. A minor inaccuracy. Black's pawn move creates weaknesses and allows White's pieces to infiltrate, leading to a lost position. White captures the knight, winning material and solidifying a dominant advantage. A decisive tactical blow. Black recaptures, attempting to simplify but unable to stop White's overwhelming force. A necessary but insufficient response. White recaptures with the queen, activating her further and maintaining crushing pressure on Black's position. Black's queen move retreats, allowing White's pieces to penetrate deeper and further worsen the situation. White advances the e-pawn, opening lines and further increasing the pressure on Black's king. A strong initiative. Black supports the king with a pawn move, a necessary defensive measure against White's onslaught. White brings the rook to a powerful active file, ready to exploit weaknesses in Black's defenses. Black's queen move is passive and allows White to consolidate their overwhelming advantage further. White exchanges queens, simplifying into a winning endgame but potentially missing stronger continuations. Black recaptures the pawn, but the resulting pawn structure is weak, allowing White's pieces free rein. White activates the knight to a central outpost, dominating key squares and increasing the pressure significantly. Black's rook move is misplaced, allowing White to win more material and secure a crushing victory. White develops the bishop actively, supporting the attack and controlling crucial squares. Excellent positional play. Black's knight move is a passive defense, allowing White's initiative to grow even stronger. White captures material with the rook, decisively increasing the advantage and pushing towards a swift conclusion. Black repositions the knight, a solid defensive attempt but insufficient against White's overwhelming material. White repositions the rook, maintaining pressure but slightly missing a more direct continuation. Black develops the bishop, creating a more active position despite the lost material. White activates the knight to a powerful central square, dominating the board and preparing the final assault. Black castles, a last-ditch effort for king safety that cannot alter the game's outcome. White advances the h-pawn, improving king safety and preparing further pawn advances. A solid, winning move.